The princess awakened in the middle of the night to a devastating discovery. The castle was in a frenzy. Loud shouts rang throughout the halls, and people ran to and fro. Frightened, she jumped out of bed to run to her parents' room, only to be stopped by her guard and lady-in-waiting. "You cannot go that way," her servant rushed, pulling her in the opposite direction. "You must come with us." The princess cried out for her papa, yanking her arm away. Her personal guard grabbed her, forcing her to look at her. "We are here to protect you for a reason, princess. Your father trusts us to keep you safe, and right now, you are not safe." The princess just wanted her papa, but her papa trusted her guards and servants, so it would be wise to follow them. They whisked her away through a series of secret tunnels. The princess was disoriented as she scurried behind her guard in the darkness. All she could hear were the shouts and echoing throughout the castle from the other side of the walls. Then she heard a devastating sound that made her drop to her knees. The royal trumpets cut through the night air, ringing all throughout the land. Not once, but twice. The king and queen are dead. Her parents are dead. The guard and servant yank her to her feet, with tears streaming down her face, pulling her through the tunnels until they reached a clearing outside of the castle, where horses and a carriage were waiting. Her servant guides her to the horses, when out of the shadows, 4 figures emerge, bearing the markings of a rival noble family. They attack. The guard pulls out her sword, while the servant pulls the princess towards a horse, placing her on the saddle. "You must go, your highness." The princess looks back to her guard, her eyes widening in horror as she watches one of the uniformed figures plunge a sword right through her chest. The princess cried, desperately grabbing onto her servant's hand. She squeezes it tight and whispers, "You're our only hope now." The servant slaps the horse's hide, and before the princess could protest, it takes off towards the mountains, just as 2 of the figures reach the servant and grab her. The princess didn't stop, not even when the castle was long out of sight. It took 3 days of non-stop riding until she reached the mountains. The pathways were uneven and barren. She wandered them for days, looking for food and water. She stumbled upon rainwater gathered in some of the cracks of the mountains, but there was never enough. Soon her horse died and she sustained herself on the meat. But once the horse was gone, there was no food or water left. Weeks passed, and on one dark morning, after the princess cried her eyes out in the mourning of her family and the life she once lived, she climbed the tallest cliff she could find and looked out over the edge at the kingdom that was once hers. They probably thought she was dead, and if she tried to go back to show them that she wasn't, she'd certainly wind up dead by the people who killed her parents. Her heart cracked in 2, and full of despair, she teetered on the edge of the cliff, preparing herself to jump. Suddenly, a storm flashed. The wind picked up and whipped at her face, pushing her back from the ledge. The sky darkened instantaneously, and the rain fell down in sheets, washing her clean of the week's worth of dirt and grime. Through the rain, she could see that the land she was standing on began to glow. The motion tingled up from the soles of her feet all the way to her spine. Before she could react, a lightning bolt flashed and struck the earth, blinding her. Once she regained her sight, she saw that where the lightning struck the ground, a beautiful white flower with stained gold edges slowly grew before her eyes. The aroma of it was strong. It smelled so sweet, and the center glistened with nectar. The princess, mesmerized and hungry, put a drop of the nectar to her full lips and felt an immediate surge swarm through her. She felt more revitalized and satiated than she could ever remember feeling in her life. More flowers grew on that mountainside, and the nectar from them sustained her for a year, strengthening her, fortifying her. During that year, Princess Ramona not only grew stronger, but her rage was renewed. The loss of her family, the loss of her life. She wanted back what was rightfully hers.